What exactly is NMAP? N, as you can see, is written in cap. That is intentional because it represents network. So it is network mapper. That's why you have NMAP. NMAP is open source tool for network discovery, auditing, and security testing. What does network discovery actually means? It is a process of finding devices and systems, applications on a particular network. The purpose for looking for the device, application, or system may vary from one user to another. Some users may have genuine intention or genuine purpose for using NMAP to discover the hosts on a network so that they will know the exact number of devices, applications, and systems that are owned by the organization, and the discovery will help in proper planning and proper management and security of these devices, systems, and applications. So, network discovery is a process that is common to network administrators, security analysts, auditors, that is security auditors, and others that are concerned or that have the role and responsibility of securing the network. What about auditing? Auditing with NMAP it has a very thin line of difference between the mere talking about network discovery, because network discovery is a process, but when you talk of auditing is a bigger process, because a lot of things goes into auditing. It goes beyond mere network discovery, because you can discover a network, a device on network, and maybe ports which I have not mentioned, and that should be the core of this particular discussion, but we're going to focus on it shortly. All right, so when you talk about auditing, you want to know what is available on the network, what you have on the network, and you want to compare it to what is expected, and you want to see whether they are in a state that they have been documented. So if there is variance in it, then there is a need to ask questions. Why the variation between what is documented and what exactly is obtainable in real life? The simple reason is, if there is no auditing, then gaps in security will not be detected. So comparing what the organization has and the baseline, also checking whether organization assets are configured, are connected, are segmented based on the organization policies, procedures, as well as applicable regulations and industry baseline is crucial to securing the organization assets. The same thing goes for security testing. It's just that these are different areas of security disciplines, and how they approach the same goal differs. But as we go on in this course, you will learn more and more. So NMAP works on Linux, Windows, Mac operating systems. And the key abilities of NMAP include host discovery, which we started with. Host discovery, that is, what hosts, what computers, what devices are connected to a particular network. Then OS detection. OS stands for operating system, and when you have OS detection, it means you want to know what operating system runs on a particular device or are available within the network. The third capability of NMAP is port scanning. And what is a port scan? We need to first understand what a port is before we go into port scanning. A port is actually like a door or a space or a point on a computer or electronic device where information is exchanged between multiple applications, programs, and devices. So each device or each host runs operating system. The operating system could be Windows, Linux, iOS, and more. And on each operating system sits various applications. This operating system, the services they run, the protocols they run, the applications that sit on them, communicates through ports. It's just like if you can visualize nations trading among themselves. You have the seaport, you have the airport to ferry products across from one nation to another. Similarly, ports on devices are that channel, that opening through which traffic can come in, which is called inbound traffic, and through which traffic can go out, which is called outbound traffic. And what exactly do these traffics carry? They carry what is called packets. Packets of data. That is data chopped into pieces that will be sent across the internet, and they will reassemble when they get to their destination. So, because these are doors through which data flow in and out of devices, it is important that security analysts or security professionals understand how these ports operate and how the status of the ports, whether they are open, they are filtered, or they are closed. And if a port is not supposed to open and is left open, then the system is considered to be weak in security, and it is termed vulnerable. It is vulnerable to attack. And this is the reason why NMAP and other scanning tools are used by both the security professionals guarding their organization assets, as well as the malicious actors wanting to gain unauthorized access into devices or network. So the knowledge of the state of the important ports within the network will tell the cybersecurity professionals whether the network is open to attack or not. Also, if the malicious actor scan the network and finds some ports open that should not be open, then the malicious actor will see this as opportunity to go in, to send in packets and perform operations that are not authorized by the owner of the network. So, you see how important port scanning is, to know exactly what ports are open and what ports are not open, to see whether the open ports are supposed to open, because some ports must open before traffic can go from the device to the network and to the wider internet, and to receive messages back from the servers and other devices across the internet space. So now let's continue. The next thing that NMAP can do is that it can detect services and version of services that are running on a particular device. So what that's also like the port scanning that we give the cybersecurity professional or malicious actor, the person scanning the network, the knowledge of the device of the services that are running on that particular network, whether they are outdated and they are supposed to have been updated and have not. The scanning through with NMAP can easily reveal that, and that is the essence of doing the service and version detection. So, like I've explained, vulnerability detection is possible with NMAP, because when you scan and the output of the scan will show you what ports are opened, what ports are filtered, that is, they are behind firewall, and it will only accept authorized devices, IPs, and so on and so forth. So, despite the fact that NMAP can be used by cybersecurity professionals to detect vulnerabilities in the network configuration, or even sometimes to detect why there are bottlenecks in the movement of packets across the internet. It can also be used by malicious actors to evade detection using a particular type of scanning method. So when that technique is used, we will get to different techniques, but when a particular technique is used, it is possible for the scanning not to be detected. And when it is not detected, the attacker may try to perform certain actions undetected before it goes back. The security of any device or network is largely based on whether traffics coming in and going out can be logged and reviewed. If there are no logs, if the traffic can be evaded, if the traffic detection can be evaded, then it's a big problem for security of the particular network in question. All right. So let's move on to the installation of NMAP. In this course, this being the beginner session among the 12 modules, we'll be using Ubuntu, which is a Linux distro. There are other Linux distros, and there is Windows operating system that we can use. So, but we'll take it step by step. Let's start with Ubuntu, which is Linux beginner friendly. So you, as a new or as a beginner in NMAP scanning course, I will expect you to go to this browser of your choice and type NMAP HTTPS. Then you browse for nmap.org. That is the official site for downloading NMAP. Let me give you the exact so it is https://nmap.org. no www, nothing. Once you put the double slash, the next thing is nmap.org, and you will get straight to the official site. I will show you that when I finish with this. So that's this. Download from nmap.org. Just type this in your browser, nmap.org. It will bring it up for you. Okay, so once you do that, download it into your Linux. If you have Ubuntu, if you have any other distro, that is fine, depending on your choice. But if you don't have a virtual machine, I will put a video on how to install Oracle VirtualBox, or you can look for it in the channel. So there is a video on how to install Oracle VirtualBox. There is also a video on how to install virtual machine. So in your virtual machine, if you need help, just contact me. If you need help, if you have not used a virtual machine before and you need guidance. All right, so run the NMAP on your operating system, and once you finish, you type nmap -- version. That will show you exactly what version you are running, and you can then go back. Each time you want to know what version you are running, just type nmap -- version. You will see the exact version you're running. So that is the theoretical part of this. Now let's go to our virtual machine. All right, so I have a terminal open. If you don't have, let me close it. If you don't have your terminal open, you just press Ctrl-Alt-T, and that brings your terminal out for you. If you're in Ubuntu, most Linux distro use these shortcuts. All right, so let me do nmap because I have installed it. in Ubuntu, if you want to install it, you use sudo apt install nmap, something like this. Sudo apt install nmap. So because I've installed it, I'll just start with version. So you can see the version that my system is running is 7.94, and you can see the sites where you can download NMAP. Okay, so I'll clear this off. So this is the introductory part of NMAP, but before we conclude, I will want to go a little bit more into what you need to know about port scanning, because that will form the major knowledge base you need for using NMAP. So hackers like NMAP because of its potency in discovering hosts and other abilities that it possesses that I've explained to you earlier. So businesses also, they use port scanning to detect or to send packets to specific ports and check what response will be received back to see whether that particular device, server, or anything is prone to attack. So it's a very important tool for testing. Even sometimes when you need to discover what assets you want to do, asset discovery, NMAP is one of the tools that are very readily available. They're being open source that you can use to detect what number of hosts you have on your environment or your network. So you can just do nmap, assuming your IP is 12.3.2.54. With that, it will begin to scan that IP address. You can scan host name. For example, if you say scan nmapgoogle.com, it will do it. Nmap. But for this class, I want you to go with this knowledge, this tool. We're going to be using this scanme.nmap.org. This will be a website that we're going to be trying. Or let's even try it now as one. nmap. Let that be our first lab. Okay, so you can see what we have here not shown. These are ports that are open. This particular site is intentionally created to be vulnerable for testing by the NMAP.org. So you can use it for testing, and we're going to be using it when we are demonstrating different scanning techniques that you can use when you are running NMAP. So we see the ports, we see the states, and we see the service. And you can see up here, like I mentioned earlier, 996 are filtered out of, because NMAP will scan, by default NMAP will scan the first 1000 ports. So with these 996 ports are filtered, so no response, but port 22, which is SSH, that's the service running on port 22, and the protocol is TCP, and the status the state of that port is that it is open. When it is open, it means it can receive inbound traffic and it can send out outbound traffic. Then port 80, HTTP, that's for your browser, for your web browsers. So you have port 80. Then you have 9929 TCP. All these are TCP that we see here. There's no UDP here. Okay, so you see the services that are running on each port as we see it here. So NMAP done, one IP address, which is one host up, scanned in 9.06 seconds. So you can see how fast the scanning completed. So that is exactly what you need to know as a foundation before we start going into the techniques. And NMAP, if you look here, you can see that what we have here is letters, but then when NMAP will scan it, it will show you the IP address as well. It will reveal the IP address, so you know the IP address of the scanme.nmap.org. So I see you in the next module, hoping that by then you will have watched the video on how to install your Oracle VirtualBox. You'll have installed your virtual machine and be ready for NMAP scanning. Once you have that in place, then you can return for module 2. Thank you.